Well, hey, good morning, and welcome, you guys. And we welcomed a whole bunch of new fantastic women into our Diet Disruption Facebook group yesterday. So if you happen to be tuning in to this Facebook Live for the very first time, yay! I am so thrilled you're here. And we had great questions come in. I can't even tell you how much I appreciate the questions, because this is sort of what I get to help you with and answer things for you in real time. So this is for Trisha. And Trisha, I think that so many women are in this situation. I know I was. And the question is, I am so used to weighing myself every day. How can I break out of that habit? Oh my gosh, does anybody else do this? I used to weigh myself, no word of a lie, I'm sure 8 to 12 times a day. Like the minute I woke up, before I peed, after I peed, before I ate, after I ate, at night, before I went to bed. And if you are weighing yourself multiple times a day, we got to be really clear here. The only thing you're doing is exacerbating the craziness in your head, because the scale is not showing you, or how you're interpreting the scale results is going to be really dependent on the relationship you have with scale, the relationship you have with your body, and how much you understand about what the scale is actually telling you. So let me break this down for you. Let's just go to one of my common metaphors, which is, have you ever been to a bonfire? If you've been to a bonfire, or if you've ever watched a fire, you know you put a log on the fire, and does it combust immediately? No, it takes time to combust. Well, that's just like fat, right? Fat takes time to combust. It also takes time to be synthesized and generated. So is it possible to put on 5, 6, 7 pounds, 3, 4, 5, 6 pounds of fat in a day, in an hour? No, of course not. So why, when we stand on a scale, what happens for women is we immediately think every increase and decrease is, I've gained fat, I've lost fat, right? I've gained fat, I've lost fat. And we don't understand exactly what it is. So how you break out of the habit of weighing yourself every day is, first of all, pick one day, at most 2 days a week, that you are going to weigh yourself, and make sure you have space between the days. So Monday and Thursday, Tuesday and Friday, Wednesday and Sunday, you get the idea. Commit to days that you're going to weigh yourself, and then give your body to create time to create the fat lipolysis, the way that fat gets off your body, so that you can actually see a change on the scale. When you weigh hour to hour or day to day, what you are really seeing are the fluctuations in your body water, right? And so your intracellular body water, it has weight. And I don't just mean like the water that you're drinking. Yes, if I drank a liter or 750 milliliters of water, 1 liter of water weighs 2.2 pounds. Okay, you need to know that. If you take that in, then you're going to see the scale go up. But the scale is always going to be showing you what your body is doing to achieve homeostasis, in terms of how much salt have you had? Have you had excess carbohydrate lately? Your body water can go down if you've done really intense heavy exercise or a hot yoga class and you haven't replenished. So when you take a look at that scale number, here's what you need to remember. Number one, there's 4 things that scale is reflecting to you. Bone mass is not going to change. Muscle mass is not going to change. The 2 other variables that we're playing with here are fat weight, and intracellular water weight. So these are the 2 variables that are at play. Intracellular water is going to change hour to hour, day to day. The fat is going to take time to burn. So when you go through the day and you're eating and drinking and doing your stuff, your body has to make sure it's achieving electrolyte balances and all of these good things, okay? So it can store water, and it's normal for a middle-aged woman to have anywhere between 1 to 2 liters of intracellular body water fluctuation. That's 2 to 4 pounds. Right? So if you're going in and you know that you've been really consistent with your eating and eating healthy, eating clean, eating well, you're taking care, you're nourishing yourself, and then you get disappointed because of the result that you see on the scale, guess what happens psychologically? You think, screw it. I'm doing all this work, and look, I've just gained weight. And actually, it's totally possible that you may have lost weight, and then whatever happens after that moment of emotional sabotage, where you think this isn't working, might as well just go eat cheesecake, or whatever it is that you do, well, then that is where the scale is now going to reflect what you've just done in terms of overeating in a few days. And it will be fat weight, right? So I would say, Trisha, the best ways to do this, number one, if the scale is like, if you find it sort of addictive, like if it's right there in your bathroom, you see it when you go into your bathroom, when you get out of the shower, put it away. Just hide it somewhere. Put a towel over it, put it in a basket, put it into a cupboard, put it in a drawer, put it into a different room, put the scale into a bathroom that you don't go into very often. Those are all sorts of really good, helpful ideas so that you can learn how to break the habit. And I think one of the things, in the academy, I'm telling women all the time, if you're weighing yourself every day, you are slowing down your weight loss journey, because now you're going to be putting so much emotional energy into managing your mindset in terms of trying to talk yourself up if you're feeling down and disappointed with what the number was on the scale. The other thing is the scale can kind of screw with you the other way. If the number goes down, there's the potential for our mind to go, see, look, you're doing such a good job. You don't need to be as careful, as restrictive, or whatever the words are in your head. You might as well go reward yourself because you've lost weight. It's so crazy how we do this sometimes. And let me know if you can relate to that. I know that it's a tough one, isn't it? Because so often we're just wanting the win and we want that instantaneous feedback. Now, what happens is, if you are following in this community or if you've read the books, then you need to know that, you got to give yourself time to lose 5 pounds, and you need to do it repetitively over and over. 5 pounds, then the next 5 pounds, then the next 5 pounds. And I think that sometimes when we get stuck on chasing short-term results, we want that weight loss so quickly that we're anxious to see that it's happening, and we get frustrated and impatient and end up sabotaging before you get the chance to become successful. And I think that's the thing that's like the kick in the teeth, is all this hard work that you're doing, and say you're, hard work between Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, the hangover from dieting legacy is that by Thursday, you should see this massive drop happen on the scale. And it just doesn't actually work like that. It's science, right? It's science. It's like building up a fire, putting a log on it, and then being so pissed off at the fire that the log hasn't just poof, turned to ash. Well, that's just not the way combustion works, right? So when you understand it in another area of your life, you need to bring that understanding and that rationale into this personal area of weight loss so that you can give yourself the gift of time to ultimately be successful. If anybody is watching and you've had success with breaking the habit of weighing yourself every day, please comment below in terms of what were your strategies. If you are someone who struggled with this and then now you're free of it, what did you do? How did you change your belief system or behavior around using the scale? And ultimately, how did that benefit you? I think it's so helpful to hear from women who are tackling this or have had the same challenge and then they've overcome it, so that you can get those strategies and we can learn from each other. So that's what I would say, Trisha, is I think we have to kind of go, okay, wait a minute. If everybody in academia, and I'm talking every single major university and every state, every province, has best practices around using the scale as a tool for good, as a tool for evil. Because I know there's a lot of people out there who say, throw out the scale, go to intuitive eating, do not let that number dictate your worth. And I totally agree. A number should not dictate our worth. But it's kind of like looking at your bank account and saying, I'm never going to look at my bank account again. I'm just going to spend intuitively and hope that I have enough money tomorrow or next month. And, what we measure changes, and what we don't measure, we stay in denial about. So for me, coming with that science hat on and then doing the personal development work where we, as women, know that the number on the scale is not reflective of our value, we can choose to accept ourselves and love ourselves as we are while in the process of choosing change. That's where you become empowered. That's where you start to get control and take charge of not just your physical form, but what's going on mentally and emotionally as well. So listen, I'm going to be back tomorrow. We have another really great question that came up, and I wanted to put some time into thinking about it. But if you are somebody who knows that your self-esteem and some mindset stuff is challenging for you, you're working on not putting yourself down as much and how to start putting more steps into place about being more positive and supportive of your own self, then tomorrow's Facebook Live is one that you are going to want to tune into. Alrighty, so you guys, it's the end of November. I'm so excited. That means that we're moving into holiday season. We're going to have some fun stuff to release for you in this month to keep our holiday mojo up while keeping our weight in check. So yay, here's to almost December. See you tomorrow.